Hi, I'm Two-Ton Streamer, and welcome to this week's W4RK News Weekly Roundup, or as I like to call it, the 20 millionth most watched channel on YouTube. Here comes the news. In update news, 223.0 is scheduled to drop at any moment now. It should be out by the time you're hearing this. Things to expect on there will be ARC Furries, which is a final fur pass on all the animals, so you can say so long to those plastic clay-looking dinos you have. Also, March of the Penguins, which will be a new creature that will be out there for your bashing pleasure, along with the anglerfish, which will all but ensure that my ass will be staying out of the oceans. We're also supposed to be getting the custom RP-oriented recipe cooking system, including the skill-based results, sometime around update 235 in the spring of 2016. I actually jest, but seriously, this thing is turning into the DX12 Ghostware update of November. We're also getting catapults and minigun turrets to answer the age-old question: how fast can people run to the forums to declare that once again, primitive gameplay is dead? I, for one, am very excited to see how this will work out, with the also promised PvE war declaration option coming to those PvE neighboring tribes who have been grumbling about blocking off that blue light drop. They can finally come to blows over that. Last but not least is the option that will pretty much guarantee that I get flagged down on my site every time I wander around my server Arctown. The tiered server admin and tribe name tags will be live as well, so anyone seeing me out there will know exactly who I am and my function on the server. A pretty much jam-packed update with some very nice PvE options coming our way. I think those who have joined PvP servers because they wanted to be able to sometimes PvP but have to put up with other bullshit associated with those servers might be trying to jump ship. Consensual PvP sounds so much better, if not so much dirtier. Now it's time to talk about last week's editions and how they're playing out in the game. So last week, swords and shields were introduced, and these have been fun to use for my brief time with them, and I do look forward to how these will play out in an arena atmosphere. Crop plots on platforms was also introduced, and I rarely go out myself with platform saddles, but I was pleasantly surprised to not see anyone really complaining about them in the forums. Another big thing that happened over the week was optimizations. These have been a welcome change and something that have helped increase some frame rates, from what I've heard. They were not really felt on Valhalla, where I'm currently playing, so again, no real input for me on this. Another thing that came about was stone behemoth gates, and they were moved to the smithy. This solved a problem brought on by issues from the update before that, so relief for those hoping the cost associated with these gates would come down, they really didn't get it. As they shouldn't. Another thing that was added this week were server options to lock containers, and then another one to allow auto-destruct of old structures. This little option seems like a simple one, yet it seemed to need quite a few fixes during the week, as almost every little patch had some blurb about them being finally fixed or working as intended. Now it's time to listen to me butcher another new dino name. That's right, it's time for the new dossier of the week. This week the devs introduced us to the Troodon. It's described as most intelligent, understands meaningful experiences, which I guess means it likes hugs, gifts, and watching Downton Abbey. You must wine and dine this Bradyac breed in order to win its loyalty, so prepare to tame some dodos to offer up as sacrifice to this emo namby-pamby dino. In the wild, they pack hunt and can knock you the hell out with their serrated poisonous fangs, and they seem to specifically go after humans, so get your sword and shield ready, because if you thought dilos were bad, I think things just got a lot worse. Now it's time to talk about mods and those updates and how they're coming along. So the contest just ended last week, so I doubt we're going to see a whole lot of new mods in the next week or two, but I'm really looking forward to what's going to be coming. Alright, so let's take a look at the most popular mods. The top 8 are Simple Fences, Metal with Glass, Roofing Plus, Baby Dinos Enhanced, Stair Mod with Rounded Walls, Industrial Grinder, Pimp My Rex, and Primitive and Survival. I've tried all of these except for Primitive and Survival, Baby Dinos Enhanced, and Industrial Grinder, and I have to say that they're all pretty good. There are two that I've been using extensively over the past couple of weeks, and that is the Valhalla map mod, which we actually have our own server for, and we also have the Advanced Architect mod, or the Castle mod as we like to call it. The Valhalla mod actually had a very nice update this week, which brought more Quetzals, insects, and the new dino, the Giga, as well as more temperature zones and single-player spawn locations issues that were fixed. The Castle mod had a couple of updates this week, one of which rebuilt the rose window, but then it had to have a patch to fix the old one, which were invisible. They also added a new structure, wall foundations, for walls to snap directly to, and as well as a workstation revamp where you can actually learn the engrams versus the workstation blueprints. Both options are still available. There's also a large bed which was added, and that should actually, it actually works, so that should be a really good thing. Also, bridges have longer support columns, and I actually tested those out in one of my videos this week. There's actually an honorable mention mod I'd like to talk about, and that is Ark Pirate World. Me personally, I haven't tried it, but I'm hoping they release boats as a separate mod from this. But no matter where I went through the forums or on the mod forums, you could not get away from this new mod. So definitely check that out. Alright, now it's time for Tears of Our Peers. This is a special segment where we take a look at the most popular topics in the forums. And what I plan on doing with this is actually making it more like a discussion group. So we'll expect that later on. But right now, I'm just going to tell you about what's going on a little bit and go from there. So the first thing, as with any major new change we had in the forums, were the Giganto Mega Thread, which is where there were a whole bunch of different threads going on about the new Giganto dinosaur and how OP it was, basically. People were taming this thing at like a low level, like around 25, 30 or so, and it was coming out with like over 100,000 health easily. And I really don't know the exact number because I've seen so many in the forums, but that's what was going on there. So there were tons of posts about this, so finally Nubsley had to go in and just combine all the threads into one mega thread. And my whole view on this, we've since seen that the devs have gone in and actually nerfed some of the numbers and some of the damage that they do. And so I can see where people were kind of freaked out about it, but they really didn't give the devs time to respond. There were people already complaining about it within an hour or two of the update. And I think that that's a little ridiculous. And most of it was not really constructive feedback. But, as we always see, it's people that just come on, claiming that things are broken, it's ruined, gonna go home, my knee hurts, I skinned my knee and fell over, and they cry all the way home. So that's not really the kind of thing that really helps in an early release like this. Let's also talk about a special thing I saw where the name of the title of this was Griefed to the Point of Completely Unplayable. That title, though. It was very hard to just read that title, let alone read what was going on inside. But basically it boils down to someone was on a PvE server, an official one, and there were some words between another member on there somewhere. And so what they decided to do was the person not complaining basically, ran and got a Carno and brought it over to this guy's base and, got it to attack his base and him. He wound up losing some dinosaurs, his own life, and maybe it messed up his base a little bit. First off, it's a Carno and not a T-Rex. It didn't seem like it was an alpha either. They just said a Carno. And the guy was like a level 29, I want to say. His profile, he had at least over 100 hours of playing, so, regardless, he should know how to play a little bit. Anyone can take on a Carno just about. They're not that hard to take on. So why he was complaining about that is beyond me. But his main concern was he felt like they had exploited the system. That it wasn't right that on a PvE server someone could bring a dinosaur over to his area and cause it to attack. So I'm curious about what you guys think. Is that an exploit? He feels like there should be moderators on the official servers to prevent things like this from happening or to punish those who do. So that was a huge thing that I saw this week also. And there was a fun forum post that I saw where someone put in their Ark. It's called Ark in 3 words. And basically, you just describe how you feel about Ark in 3 words or less. Well, 3 words anyway. So, here are some favorites I found. Still in Alpha. God Mode Mount. And we know what that's all about. Eat, drink, poop. There's another one, Spawn, Die, Repeat, which sounds like an Edge of Tomorrow reference. Can't stop playing. I know a few people that have that. You have defecated. It's kind of like you have mail. Burning to freezing. We have seen some of that on here. And my personal favorite was Lincoln Guns and Dinosaurs. So I happen to have Lincoln as my avatar, so that was great. One of my favorites that I think, that I would say would be like, subscribe, and comment. So there you go. Now it's time to talk about the hot rumor of the week. This week's rumor is about a leak we here at W4RK heard about concerning the Christmas event and how Ark will be handling that. Apparently, the title might be called Holidays Evolved, and will entail the survivors running around and saying hi, but careful not to use any specific Christmas jargon, such as the word Christmas, Yule, or even reindeer. Red suits with false fat bellies will be awarded for those who can go the entire event without mentioning the word Christmas or even joy, and that includes the in-game chat as well. A new craftable item will be available, the Nog of Egg, which will be a drink served in a red cup, which will make your cheeks rosy red. This concoction is rumored to be made from dodo eggs and the tears of our peers. Well, that's it for a weekly news special. Next week, who knows if out there survivors?